Hello friends, Feckless Tempest, top 16 seasonals player here. Today I'm going to be going over Lor-Meta's weekly meta report, which contains the top decks by play rate, what decks we should be climbing the ladder with, and what they look like. So let's get started with archetype play rate. We have Azir Irelia, Akshan Kaisa, obviously new because she's new with Demacia. So they have a lot of scoots to pump up Kaisa and make Void Abomination her kind of messy. Mono Kaisa, they play Rite of Callings to get up to 6 of her. Twisted Fate Annie and Oldie Yasu Katarina, which has gone up in play rate to something actually played because of that new landmark. Illaoi Bard, Sivir Kaisa, again just like another champion, Spell Shield, good with Evolve. Jhin, Annie, Oldie, Annie, Gwen. Annie's new. Gwen's new. And Elise Gwen. So we have two Gwen decks. We're going to skip over the matchup tables. If you want to take a look at this, article's in the description. Take a look yourself, right? There's too much stuff to go over, really. But here's the meat of the article, at least in my opinion, for ladder grinding at the very least, the power score. And what the power score is basically a deck's win rate when you weigh it against all the other decks and you weigh how frequently they appear in the metagame. Based off that, Illaoi Bard is probably the best deck you should be grinding ladder with, followed up by Sivir Kaisa and Twisted Fate Annie. And after that, there's a pretty, I'd say, significant drop off. If you want to play these, go ahead. Probably stay away from Annie Gwen, though. This is kind of a pretty low power score. And the meta score is kind of interesting because this is mostly for the top 10 archetypes and how they get paired against each other. And Irelia has the highest score here, so might be worth a try out if you're interested in gauntlets or best of 3 tournaments going forward. Since it seems to be pretty good against some of the best matchups, obviously you'd want to take a look at the matchup table to figure out how you would build a lineup around that. And lastly, this wonderful weekly report has deck codes you can get for popular archetypes, and let's just take a look what some of these decks look like, right? We got all the decks here. Bard Illaoi. Oh, all this will be in the description, by the way. So yeah, we've got Tentacle Smash, One Blood in the Water is like a Miser rally card. Riptide Sermon, Dust for Dempster Unit, spawn 3 and 2 to the Nexus, just really strong. Hired Gun is actually kind of annoying to play around. You always have to keep it in mind during early turns, and Yibin Ward actually gives this deck a lot of ways to interact with the opponent's board, combined with Tentacle Smash. And next up, we have Sivir Kaisa. This is just, Void Abomination, Kaisa, Evolve shenanigans. I really like how they're playing Silverwing Diver because it's a card with 2 keywords, and Elusive's pretty good on a 7/6. Also, we got some Scouters, tough life steals. Yeah, pretty cool, honestly. I don't know. I like this stuff. I understand people are playing against it a lot and might be sick of it by now, but when you're the one committing the crimes, it's kind of cool. Any TF, I'm not going to go over this much. I think we saw this a ton last season. Any Jhin, also an oldie. This list had 3 Doom Beasts instead of... I think the other one I saw had more sentries than Doom Beasts and an augmented experimenter. But yeah, I saw some people playing the Noxus Mystic Shot over Noxian Fervor, which I'm not a fan of, just because every point is important. Point to damage. And here's just Kaisa with Rites of Calling. So you can play with 6 Kaisas, just like those, wonderful Mono Viego decks. But besides that, very similar cards, very, focused on doing one thing, and that's playing really powerful evolved creatures. I might actually want to try this out myself. Here's the Irelia, as we brought up before, very high meta score. I'm kind of happy to see Domination do well. I think the art's like really sick. Not very relevant, but like I like that half face mask thing going on. And yeah, she's just like she's kind of like a third champ in a weird way, because she pumps all the blades and sand soldiers. But yeah, honestly, besides that, this looks very generic, right? You play one Rite of Calling just because you have things that actually you can sack and your champions are so instrumental to your core strategy. Akshan Kaisa, again, another Kaisa Evolve Abomination deck. I freaking love this card, it's so cool. Yeah, this one isn't playing as, I don't think it has any Scouters. Yeah, it's not playing the Scout barrier dude. Formidable and Challenger is kind of cool, though. Elise Gwen. This really just looks like the old Mono Elise Noxus decks. But now they've shaved some of the stuff out for Hollowed and Gwen stuff. They aren't playing the card that makes 2 of the 2/1 Hollowed units. That's something to kind of keep in mind. It's a very light splash, right? Because she is a burn spell on the attack as well. She drains 2, so yeah, you don't have to go overboard trying to enable her and give her synergy. Here's Katarina Yasuo, the joy of Mogwai and other content creators. I think this is the card. I haven't played this deck, and I don't actually think I've played against it. I played a Aphelios Yasuo deck earlier, which I wasn't the biggest fan of, but this card is kind of like the reason people are trying out Yasuo more, and we're seeing a high play rate. And lastly, Annie Gwen, you know, just like Annie, good burn champion, Gwen, good burn aggro champion. I assumed, I misarchetyped this. I just assumed this was going to be an aggro deck. As I was like bringing them all up, I kind of glossed over it. But yeah, it's just a catalog of secrets blue Manny deck. That's kind of cool. So yeah, that's this report. You know, if you enjoyed it, clicking that like button helps me out. And if you want to see some ranked gameplay from this season, click the video screen thingy on the screen. See you next time.